Hello, and welcome to the Green Grassroots of Football with me, Andy Glover, and that's it. Yeah, this time it's just me. Mark is not available, so I'm doing a special with a guest who is joining me. I've tried to get him on for a little while, and I finally managed to get him on, and that's Mitchell Glover. You may recognise the surname. Yes, that's same as mine. That's because he's my grandson. Welcome, Mitchell.
Thank you very much, Grandad. I appreciate it.
So, I've got Mitchell on because I want to talk about his journey from the beginning, when he first came to Fry's, right through to his career as an adult. But before we do, my usual quotes. So, the secret is to believe in your dreams, in your potential, that you can be like your star. Keep searching, keep believing, and don't lose faith in yourself. That was Neymar. So there we go.
I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was quite a good one. Before we do go on, I would just like to thank our sponsor, Rachel's Bookkeeping, for all of your bookkeeping needs. So, Mitchell, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Grandad. I'm very good.
Good.
Excited to get this done. I am.
Sounds like a chore.
No, definitely not a chore. We've been willing to do it for a while, haven't we?
Yeah. So we're going to look at your football career from the start. So you came along to Fry's in 2005, 2006, and you stayed for 4 years. But you'd actually been training since you were 4 years old. So what can you remember about those 4 years? Can you remember much about who you were with, players, managers, what you were out like, what it was like?
I remember the first thing I remember is getting picked up when I was in primary by a scout who was part of the class of 92, if I believe. I can't remember his name. That's how I ended up going to Bristol City. So that's the first one I kind of remember. So what would I have been then? 6. That's probably a bit after, isn't it?
That's a bit after, yeah. That's Bristol City. That's after. That's next on my list. You're jumping ahead.
So what do I remember?
You were already playing for Fry's at that point.
See, I've obviously seen the videos of my first goal. I don't actually remember it.
Do you not?
I don't actually remember it.
So you were.
I remember the kick-up challenge. Penalty challenge that we did. Yeah,
so your first, you were playing up a year. You were coming training actually with one of my teams.
Yeah.
And you played for a manager called Steve Parsons, and you came along and played for his team against Longmore Green.
Yeah.
There we go. And yes, in the second half, you scored a goal as well, which was quite a good one. It's on video. It's on YouTube. But you were there for 4 years. Do you remember anything about those 4 years at all? In terms of what the games were like? Or was that just...
I think it's all just videos. Yeah, I think it's all just videos. I think...
I mean, you did play with our current women's team manager.
Yeah. I remember.
That was Kelsey.
Is Kelsey the...
Yeah, she's in charge of the women's team.
Yeah. So we played with Kelsey. I do remember Kelsey playing.
And
I remember a few of the lads played. But apart from that, I can't actually remember much.
And how old are you now?
24.
24. So I'll let you off. That was close to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So, okay. But that was your first 4 years.
Yeah.
So you trained with my team initially. My team were 4 years older than you. And you came along, and when I say trained, you weren't blood and thunder diving in. My team understood you were,
younger.
You were 4, so they were okay with you. And then when you were old enough, you joined the Fry's team. And then can you remember the name of the man who scouted you at Castle?
I can't. I could find it.
Addy?
No, I don't think so.
No. Rings the bell at me for some reason, but I maybe think of other people.
Probably should have looked it up.
Would have helped, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably should have.
Knowing you're coming to a podcast.
But no, I have to find that out.
But he was. What was his role in terms of why was he in
I
the
can't
school?
remember if he was so I think it was, like after school clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just one of them.
But why was Bristol City putting one of their coaches into after school clubs?
I'm not quite sure.
Do you remember?
No, I'm not quite sure, but I remember from that's how I got into Bristol City.
Yeah. Back then, if schools didn't have it, Bristol City back then were putting outreach programs where they'd have scouts going into the schools, and like on a Monday it'd be Castle, on Tuesday it'd be Kelston Road, Wednesday St John's, and they do a football session, and they were ostensibly putting on coaching for children, but obviously it allowed them also to go, there's a player, there's a player, there's a player, and Raf, that was his name. There you go. See,
yeah,
that's 20 years ago as well.
Raphael, yeah.
Yes, and he recommended you to go up to Bristol City.
Correct. Yeah.
And that was on your 6th birthday.
Was it?
Yes. So you were still playing for Fry's, and you were training with Bristol City. What do you recall of your Bristol City days?
I think I briefly remember that first training session.
It's a bit Phelan, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Cam with me, I want to say. Shawnee?
He was,
I want to say he was there. Maybe not.
Well, I know who was watching.
You.
I was watching, yeah.
Bristol City days.
But
I remember
City days themselves. Any highlights? I mean, there's certainly one highlight.
I remember training up at St George's, and we used to train futsal.
Mm-hmm. So what things were you doing then there?
We'd do indoor training, so all futsal.
So it wasn't regular, so it's different sort of training.
I'm not sure if I can't remember.
So when you're saying futsal, for those who don't understand futsal, that's a heavier ball on hard courts inside. I mean, when I say hard courts, it's not concrete. That's indoor sports hall. And the idea of futsal is, because the ball's heavier, it doesn't go in the air, it's not headed.
It challenges you more technically.
It's designed to make you use skill and, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
And was that all the academies, from what your knowledge is now, majority of the academies are using that?
Not now.
But back then?
But I couldn't.
From your knowledge of them, a lot of the academies are doing it?
I couldn't tell you about then. I couldn't tell you about then.
But certainly Bristol City were.
Yeah, but we were doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what age group did it till. But yeah, we were definitely doing that.
And that was down the City Academy down in St George.
Yeah. So I remember that. What else do I remember from Bristol City? It's hard coming off the top of your head, isn't it?
There was certainly a highlight at Ashton Gate.
Yeah, playing on Ashton Gate.
And what was that?
So it was was it last game of the season?
It was the first.
Or first game of the season.
First home game of the season.
Yeah, they took us onto the pitch.
Under 8s, I believe.
Yeah.
So first game of the season, the under 8 team at half time.
Yeah, we went onto the pitch at half time and had a little game. I don't know what we did. 10 minutes?
Yeah, just during half time.
Yeah.
And that every year, the under 8 team did that for the first home game.
Yeah.
So
which I think is brilliant, really, when you think about it, because you got, what would there have been, 20,000 people there?
20,000 people there, yeah.
20,000, and you got 27-year-olds running on the pitch. It is good. And it's good for, like, obviously, you, Nan, Grandad, who was there. Great granddad for people listening.
It's a great experience for a young child
is.
to be actually on the pitch playing. Like you said, it's not just being on the pitch, but 20,000 people.
Yeah, it's completely different when you got.
Can you remember much of that? As in the experience?
No, not the actual experience.
I mean, I was just wondering if you can remember at some point the 20,000 people disappear and it becomes a game.
I'd love to say I could. I do. Maybe like a tiny snippet of something, like when I was about to take a shot, but literally a snippet. Nothing. It's that far back, I think, and that much stuff has happened since. It's just like, it is really hard to. Yeah. So. Yeah. But Bristol City was so good though. I loved it there.
Okay, and you were there from 2000 and the 2007-8 season until the end of the under 2011.
Which
Okay.
takes me to what age?
Good question.
10?
2011.
10 must have been.
10.
10, 10
And you
11.
left.
Yeah,
So why did you leave Bristol City Academy?
because I went to Stoke.
Why did you go to Stoke? Because I mean, people will understand. Why would you leave Bristol City?
Yeah.
There's a legitimate reason why you left.
Yeah, we moved house.
Moved house, yeah.
Yeah, we moved to Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
And
moved,
then from Birmingham
we moved up to Stoke.
to Stoke.
Yeah. So, and then that's kind of where my memories kind of start with academy football, I think.
And the reason it was Stoke and not Port Vale or Crewe or Aston Villa, Birmingham,
Yeah,
why was that?
it's because my stepdad.
Yeah. What was his job?
So he was head of recruitment at Stoke.
Head of recruitment, adults, children, what?
For the academy.
For the academy, as in the children.
Yeah.
So under 18, head of recruitment.
Under 18s and below. Or 21s and below.
21 below for Stoke.
Yeah.
That wasn't the reason you got in, because you were already in it.
Bristol
City, so yeah.
No, I still had to try.
You still did the trial?
Yeah, but I feel like everyone always uses that against you anyway.
Mm.
Especially at that age when I feel like children could be quite nasty anyway. So that was always, oh, you're only here because your dad. So, yeah.
And what was your time at Stoke like? Because you were there from 2011-12 till 2016.
Yeah.
So it was 4 years.
Under 10s,
Something
under 11s, until under 15, start of the under 15 system.
Years,
Up season.
Sorry, 5 years, yes.
Yeah.
What was that? What
Yeah,
were
again,
those
I loved
years
it.
like? Any
was
standout
great.
experiences?
Playing at a night cup, which was at St George's
The
Park.
what cup, sorry?
Night cup.
Oh, the night cup. Okay.
Yeah. So you had, I think it was Cat 1 academies, and in our group we had Newcastle, Fulham. I can't remember the other team, but that was over 2 days, and I went with the age group above. So it was like the 2000s, I think. So I went with that age group. So you had, like, for Fulham, you had Ryan Sessegnon, Steven Sessegnon, who was at Bristol City. Obviously that age group, you had Phil Foden for Man City and all them types of players. But that whole weekend, because St George's hadn't even opened then, they'd done it just so we could play, and then it opened like a couple of weeks later. But yeah, that was good. That was a good experience, especially when you're like 12, 13 years old, playing at England's training ground before it's even opened. It's like the best thing ever. We was all collecting the grass off because they've got a pitch that replicates Wembley.
Yeah.
So we was all collecting the grass and putting it in our pocket.
Pits of Wembley grass.
Yeah, literally.
And you talk about, actually, you've gone off tangent slightly. You talk about Foden, Ryan, and what other names from that time do you remember playing against? Because there's who's the Welsh lad who was at Exeter, and you played against him as well. Ethan Ampadu. He's I can't remember his name, but yeah, there's a number of players you've played against.
He's at Leeds now.
Leeds. Who else have you?
You'll like this one, Jeremy Frimpong.
Oh, you played against Jeremy Frimpong. Good lad, he is. Good lad. For those that know, just signed for the best team in the world. That's Liverpool, by the way. Who was he with at the time?
He was at Man City.
Okay.
Felix Nemetcha, who's at Borussia Dortmund, Man City. Name that always stands out, who was always good when we were younger, is a guy called Bobby Duncan. He was very good. He was at Derby with, I want to say when Wayne Rooney was there. But he went to Fiorentina.
Mm-hmm.
He went to them. Did actually move from City to Liverpool. I think he's Gerrard's nephew or something.
That name rings a bell, actually, Bobby Duncan. Did he have an accident or something?
I'm not quite sure.
That name rings a bell, actually, Bobby Duncan.
Yeah. But yeah, he was very good. But then you've got like players you wouldn't expect. Like there was a guy called Will Ferry at Bury. who was very good. Like went on trials at Chelsea and like he's made a good career out of it now. He's playing League One or Scottish Premiership now actually. But yeah, so
there are a number of good players there.
Yeah.
And you had a whole, obviously back then you're holding your own and...
Yeah, but you can tell they're a different level. Like complete athletically, like technically everything. Like Frimpong was a step ahead.
Was he really?
And that quick, you couldn't do anything. It was crazy. Like especially thinking back to it now. It's not like you think about it every day, but when you think back now to how good he really was, it was frightening.
So, at 2016, you left Stoke. You left the academy system. Before we move on to that, you say about Frimpong and the pace. Where do you think you perhaps didn't have the required academy skill set or physicality capabilities?
I think athletically, definitely.
As in pace.
Pace. Height. Pace and height. I was underdeveloped, definitely. When I was like 14, I didn't grow till 16. I didn't have a growth spurt until 16, so I was very small until then, and still, even in my own age group, like a boy, even though I obviously was a boy, and so yeah, it was. But then I look at it now, and personally, that's why I think I'm so good at using my body, because I've had to do it since I was young, because I was always so small. So it goes both ways, doesn't it? It can work and it cannot work. So,
do you think you would have had a better opportunity had you been a player in Portugal?
In a different country, yeah.
Because I can remember a conversation I had years ago with Alex Hinder. For those who don't know, Alex Hinder was head of youth recruitment at Bristol Rovers, and his boy, Callum, really, really short. I mean, very. And he was released by, I think it was Bristol City, and the basic conversation was, go away and grow. That was it. But Alex, when I had a chat with him, was absolutely convinced that had they been living in Spain or Portugal, that Callum would have been in the academy with no problem. And he had so much skill, and he had the pace, but he really, really was a short player. And in the UK, the mindset for football still is, as well as pace, you have to be a certain height. So do you think that affected you?
Yeah, I do. Definitely. I think you look at, I think it's got even worse now. I think they'll make special decisions, you could say, special exceptions for certain players that must be seriously talented technically. But you just look at you look at England's first team, and it's just, they are athletes, and they're unbelievable technically, obviously, but first and foremost, they can run, and they're strong as anything. So, but then you look at Spain as well now. You've got a midfield of Gavi and Pedri, who are 5'10" max. That wouldn't happen. Don't get me wrong, Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice, both unbelievable. Both 6'1" max.
I get back to the Spain of when he won it in
last year,
2010.
Oh, all the way back. Xavi, Iniesta,
Busquets.
Yeah.
All 5 foot in a bag paper.
Yeah.
But just tore everyone apart. You just couldn't get the ball off them.
Yeah.
And we're still putting 6'6" cloggers in.
Yeah.
And the mindset is still, you have to be over 10 foot tall.
There has to be something wrong with the system, because we're getting to that final stage every time, and we're we're just not doing it, are we? We're getting
We're still not getting the ball.
We're getting beaten by teams that can move the ball.
Mm.
And we can move the ball. Every team shows it, because look at the way City play, look at the way Arsenal play. So we can do it, but it's just, there definitely is something against, or something for English people in academies that love a big athlete.
And we'll come on to it, but you even, I remember having a conversation with you when you went to Chorley, and it was you and another player, and they went with the player who was 6'6".
Yeah.
That was ultimately it. It was you or him. But going back to the academy, I'm not asking you to name names because you won't recall them, but were there players who you looked at getting released who you thought the skills off the chart? Why are they releasing them? But looking back now, you might recognise its height or its...
There was one lad from Hartlepool. He's at Hartlepool now, I'm pretty sure. And he got released from Stoke. And he's gone on, like, he had his growth spurt at 16, grew to like 6 foot or whatever, and now he's making a good career in League Two. And then obviously academies are going to make what's the word I'm thinking of here?
Errors of judgment.
Errors. Yeah, of course they're going to make errors. But I just think it has to be looked at more in terms of you have to give smaller technical players a chance, because you hear it all the time. So that's my thought on it.
Okay, so you left Stoke. Why did you leave Stoke? What was your reason? Because you weren't. It was before the end of the season.
Yeah, so it was the start of the under 15s. I didn't actually go into the under 15s. I didn't know whether I was going to get a scholarship or not, and I didn't want to take that risk going into the under 15 season. So I went in for a meeting with Kev, my stepdad, and they basically said it's like 50-50, and I said, right, whether this is the right decision or not, but I said I don't want to risk it. So then I went and played Sunday League for, I'm not actually sure how many months.
And for the benefit of the listeners, you're playing for Stoke Academy. Who did you play Sunday League for? Who was the manager?
John Coates.
And who was he?
He's CEO of Bet365.
Who are the sponsors?
Oh, he's the chairman of Stoke now as well.
So at the time, you left Stoke Academy and went to play for the actual chairman of Stoke City on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, because he owned Stone Dominoes.
Mm.
And one of my friends from school played for Stone Dominoes, and he was like, "Oh, just come and play." So I was like, I kind of needed to enjoy it again, because that last season I didn't really enjoy it. So
you're actually playing for the owner of Stoke City.
Yeah, which is quite funny. Yeah, but he was brilliant. Like, I went on trial, and I feel like some managers can be very like moody with you and not play you if you go away on trial, and even at Sunday League or like lower steps in non-league. But no, he was brilliant. Like, I went to West Brom on trial in that season. I was there for like 6 weeks, ended up getting told no, and like he just obviously let me straight back in. He was sweet. Went to a few on trial. So
after that, you'd done with the academy system, and you went to men's football. Mm-hmm. It turned out this is in the 2016-2017 season. And you went to Nuneaton Town in the National League North, which is step 2 of the National League system. Why Nuneaton? What got you there?
I want to say that I played for Nuneaton under Kev Wilson against Coventry when I was 14 in the pre-season.
How did that happen then?
Or just turned 15. Because it would have been the July. My older stepbrother was there. Chris was there. And I think I'd been training a couple of times.
Well, just went along with him.
Just went along. Obviously, Kev was good friends with the chairman, so he said, just come and have a look at him. Let the manager have a look at him. And then I had a few training sessions, and yeah, ended up playing against Coventry in pre-season. Played against Jody Jones, and I was on for about 10 minutes, and yeah, the sharpness of him was just crazy. I was just like, oh my, this is the levels that you have to get to. Yeah, it was serious.
But he didn't last, the manager.
I think he stayed for about 6 months, maybe. I might be wrong.
And he was replaced by
Tommy Wright.
Tommy Wright.
Yeah.
But you stayed with Nuneaton.
Yeah.
How was that season? Because you were there for a season, weren't you?
Yeah. So. No, I think he's a bit wrong there.
Oh, I got it down to 16, 17.
Because I didn't score until the next season. I would have scored 16, 17, but I'd actually went to Nuneaton before that, but then left.
No, you were there, and you were also there at the start of the next season, which is when you scored.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
So that is that season then.
So, yeah, 16, 17 you went there, and the start of the next season you were still there.
Yeah.
And then he left.
Yeah, so I'd actually came on for Tommy that season.
Because you were...
I was 15.
So you were 15 years, 10 months and 19 days on the 18th of March 2017, the youngest player to play in the National League North. That was that season.
Crazy to say that, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And then the following season, start of the following season, that was Curzon, was it?
Against Curzon, Ashton. And then...
That's interesting, actually, because they come up again.
That was a Saturday, and then on the Tuesday I played against Altrincham. Came on against Altrincham as well.
But Curzon and Ashton come up later. And then on the 28th of August 2017, so this is the next season, against Boston. Mm-hmm. Can you remember what happened? Tell everyone what happened? In about the 89th minute of the game.
Came on 87th.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why I've made a darting run forward. But I think the ball got played over the top. And I've just...
Standing right.
Yeah, last minute of the game I just thought, what have I got to lose here? So I've just made a run into the box, and Tommy Elliott pulled it back, scored, and didn't know what to do with myself.
And that made... what did that make the score then?
I made the score 1-0 to
1-0 with a minute to go.
Yeah, with a minute to go.
And
yeah, I think one of the craziest feelings ever. I think it's mad to even speak about it, really. No, it's nice.
It is, but now to bring the story down.
Yeah.
What happened 2 minutes later?
2 minutes later, they whip a corner in and they score and make it 1-1. Kill my dreams. And
there is a video of this, and you're on the edge of the area, and you're just absolutely, you can see the frustration of almost stamping your feet in frustration. And I don't think it's because they've equalised and they got the points. I think it's because they've equalised and they've taken your victory away.
I think that would have absolutely blown up if we won, and it just absolutely killed it. I think I would have got a move if we won, but yeah.
But that was also that you again not only the youngest person to play in the National League North, but then also the youngest person to score in the National League North.
Still yet to be broken.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
But not long after that, the manager Tommy Wright, was he sacked or did he move?
No, he moved to Darlington.
Now he moved to Darlington. Now for those who don't know, Darlington is about a 3-hour drive north
from Stoke.
From Stoke and Nuneaton.
Further from Nuneaton. About 4 hours. 4 hours.
And what did you decide to do?
Move to Darlington.
Move to Darlington. And could you drive at this time?
No.
How old were you?
16.
So you're 16, you can't drive.
I'd gone, my birthday's in the end of April, and I'd gone in December.
So you're 4 months from being 17 and even able to consider driving.
Yeah.
And you've just moved as a player to Darlington.
Yeah.
How's that going to work for you then?
So one of the lads there was staying at uni in Loughborough. So the plan was, well, it was him and one of the other lads, Ben O'Hanlon, who I'm good friends with. He lived in Telford, so it was either stay at Trots's in Loughborough and then get a train from Loughborough back to Stoke the next morning, or stay at Ben's in Telford and get the train back, and obviously drive up with them. So it was, I'd leave for training at 2 p.m. and not get home until 12 p.m. on the Wednesday or the Friday morning.
So how often were you training? Also, I suppose Nuneaton would be the same, but how often were you training and playing? What was the situation like?
Tuesday, Thursday. No, Nuneaton was different. Nuneaton was full time. So I was coming out of school. Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, I came out of school, didn't I? For the last 4 months.
Oh, so Nuneaton was a full-time club?
Full time, yeah. So I came out of school and I did that college thing. So I trained with Nuneaton, but then I'd go to college in Stoke. Yeah, because Nuneaton trained at Army Barracks, I remember. But yeah, no, Darlington was twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday.
They were part-time?
Yeah, part-time. Yeah. And obviously I was only on non-contract. But during this time, so from what was going on when Tommy went to Darlington, I'd had Peterborough as well. So Barry, do you know Barry Fry? Mm-hmm. Barry Fry called me. One of the craziest phone calls I've ever had in my life. I don't even... Do you know about this, actually?
No, this is new for me and the podcast.
Yeah. So he called me and he was kind of like, obviously persuading me. And the reason I didn't go, my confidence was just through the roof. And the reason I didn't go is because he didn't give me a 1-year pro on top of the 2-year scholarship. So he'd offer me a 2-year scholarship. And I said, no, I want a 1-year pro as well. And he said, and he just stuck to his guns. So it was either, but then Darlington had offered a 2-year pro from when I was 17. So an extra year contract.
And you told him that, had you? That Darlington had offered that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, this is, they've offered me some more security.
Yeah, it's another year security. I mean, it's hindsight's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Well, not necessarily, because there's no guarantees at the end of the scholarship.
Exactly.
You haven't
got a pro. So,
yeah. So how did he know about you?
Through the Nuneaton chairman. They were good friends.
Ah, right.
Alex Penny had just moved from Nuneaton to Peterborough. I think the start of that season, maybe. Or that season, he'd just moved. So they're good friends. They've done a few deals before, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I ended up not getting the pro contracts and not going. But
I said there's no guarantees that you would have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Or it goes the other way and I absolutely fly in that first year scholar and then I end up getting a 3-year pro or something, who knows?
Yeah.
No, we'll never know.
So you've gone to Darlington.
Yeah.
You're there, gone basically during the 2017-18 season. I think you went about November, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And you're there until 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Again, National League North, so still in a step 2.
Yeah.
What was it like there?
I absolutely loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved it. The first 4 months or till the end of that season was a bit weird because it was all kind of the managers before his players, and then it kind of changed the season after. So Tom had brought in his own players and a few more from down south and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, like the fans up there and everything are just on another level.
I mean, much bigger crowds than Nuneaton.
Yeah, you probably get about 500-600 on Nuneaton, and then up there you're regularly getting about 1,200-1,300. So double.
And how many when you played away at Stockport?
Stockport, yeah.
How many people were there?
I think around 7,000, I think.
Yeah, 7,000.
Yeah, something around.
How's that to play in front of? Now, because again, when you're at Bristol City and you're 7 or 8, you're not really thinking about it. You see them, then you just get on with it, but you don't realise that's just a little demo.
Yeah.
At sort of 17, 18, you're playing, and that was a full match, wasn't it? You played the whole match.
Was it a day before my birthday?
I think you'd had tonsillitis, and you still played the whole game.
And that was, I want to say, a day before my birthday or day after. Yeah.
What's it like playing?
So I just turned 17.
What's it like playing in front of 7,500, 8,000 people?
You don't really notice it.
Do you not?
When you walk out, you notice it. And then I noticed it when they scored. They've got a big stand behind one of their goals. They might have both of them done now, but at the time it was one of them. And they scored to make it 1-1. And obviously I was facing that way. And I just seen them all like go crazy. And I was like, this is mental. But we went 1-0 up. Stephen Thompson scored. Tomo, what a man. But no, honestly, you don't. Once you like start playing, once the whistle goes, you literally don't hear anything. Well, you hear it, but you don't take any notice of it at all. I don't think. So.
Any other experiences from there you recall from your Darlington times? Must be one during the World Cup you can think of.
Holland, yeah. Holland.
What was that?
Yeah, we went on a pre-season tour and played against PSV Eindhoven, under 23s. That was very good. Yeah. And then
was that one game, 2 games?
One game it was. I think we flew out on the Friday. Oh, I had to sing my initiation in the restaurant the night before. I think that I was more nervous for that than I was for Stockport, like 100%. Which might sound crazy to some people, but yeah, standing up in a restaurant full of people and singing, it's not good. But yeah, we went out on the Friday, I think it was, and then played on the Saturday, and then had a night out with all the fans on the Saturday night, which was really good.
And when you say all the fans, it was more, if I remember rightly, there was more on it because it was World Cup semi-final?
Yeah.
That day before?
Day before we flew. It was on the Sunday, wasn't it? I think. Pretty sure.
England played Croatia.
Yeah.
And then we were going to have to fly back.
But we lost.
We lost. But had we won,
we would have stayed
everyone
down.
Was talking about we need to change our date to fly back.
Yeah. Because it was on whilst we was flying.
We were flying back and England would be in the World Cup final.
Yeah. So we wouldn't have missed it. But no, that was brilliant. Yeah. That was really good. I'm trying to think of some other times at Darlington. Everything was even like the character building of just having to leave at 2 p.m. and not get home till when I started driving. I weren't getting home till 1 a.m. sometimes.
Oh, I know about character building. I had a 5-hour train journey just to go and watch you.
Actually, that's a big one. Actually, Curzon. That was a good one. My debut.
Well, again, as I said, Curzon would come up again, didn't they?
Yeah, my full debut.
2 debuts.
Yeah.
Curzon again, yeah.
Yeah,
and that your full debut, your first pro start, 10th of March 2018. So yeah.
I think as the youngest player in this millennium to start for Darlington.
Yes.
That's another one to tick off. It's not bad.
Mm.
But yeah, that was good. That was another like realisation game though, definitely. Because even though I didn't look out of place, I feel like I didn't stand out. Mm. So now I look back to it, I think I could have done a lot of things different.
Like what? How do you mean?
Play more like me in terms of, instead of trying to keep everything safe, try and take some risks like I usually would. If I was playing, I don't know, at training or in a behind closed doors match, I'd take risks. But in that game, I just wanted to keep everything simple and just make sure. Because then I remember we played on a Tuesday against Tamworth and I didn't play. And I think, whereas if I took risks in that game and proved that I don't just want to like look like I'm cruising, I want to be able to affect the game, it might have been different. Mm. So, yeah. And then I played, I think the next one I started was Southport away. I think Dave Size pulled out injured in the warm-up. Drew that game 0-0. Yeah. But that was another good one. Got absolutely clattered in that as well. Twice, actually. Twice. And I remember it was David Morgan, the first one. Mm. He played in the league. Very good player. He was at Nuneaton with me. Went up for a header and he just absolutely clattered me from behind. First like 10 minutes. And I was like, yeah, this is like proper men's football here. So yeah, that was good. But no, Darlington was very good. It's just a shame how it ended, really.
So, why did it end? What was the reason for it ending?
So I had another year left of my contract.
What was the underlying reason for it changing?
Tommy Wright had left, and a new manager came in.
Right.
And he didn't want any Southern. He wanted all the Southern players out, really.
He kept one, didn't he?
Trots, yeah. Kept Trots.
Although that didn't really work out, did it?
No, because he ended up doing his Achilles. Rupturing his Achilles. But Trots was going to make the club money either way, whether he got sold or whatever.
Did he go on Love Island?
He ended up going on Love Island.
So he didn't make the club money anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, he ended up just saying, "Look, I basically don't want you."
If I remember rightly, he wanted everyone basically to be within half an hour of Darlington.
Yeah, something like, or just northern.
Yeah.
Just up north, which is understandable. I mean, it's a long journey.
Whereas the previous manager, like you said, had brought in 5 or 6 of his players, all from like the Leicester area
down south,
and Stoke area. So all those players had to go again.
Yeah, exactly. So all the others went in, and I was kind of left like, what do I do now? I've kind of gone everywhere with, in men's football, I've been with Tom Entine, and he's just like, I've gone to Stratford.
So were you tempted to stay and fight?
I mean, I tried. I think I played 2 pre-season games, but it just kind of made it impossible. Like, we played on, I think it was a Tuesday night, and then he was like, "You got to stay up." And I was like, "What do you mean I've got to stay up? I'll go back home and then come back up for training Thursday." He's like, "No, we're training tomorrow night now." And I was like, being forced out here, 100%. So he kind of forced me out, but it's football at the end of the day, isn't it? It happens all the time, so you can't really say anything.
And so Tommy had gone to Stratford.
Yeah.
Did he call you or did you call him?
No, he called me and said he wanted me to come.
Now, the only issue with Stratford, because we've talked about Nuneaton and Darley being National League North step 2 of the National League system, Stratford were not.
No, they were step 3.
They were step 3, and they were in the Southern League Premier Central.
Correct.
Stratford on Avon, by the way, not Stratford, London. So you went there. What was that like?
Yeah, that was good because I was more of a regular. So it was completely different to Darlington, to Nuneaton.
I mean, the issue with Darlington and Nuneaton, not only you say you were more a regular, but obviously at Darlington and Nuneaton, you were like a 15, 16, 17-year-old lad still. Whereas by the time you reach Stratford, you're sort of, 19, 20? 18.
I went at 18.
18, yeah. So just a little bit older, legally an adult now. So a bit more physical. You've had 3 years in the men's game, although not played lots and lots.
Training.
You've had 3 years of training.
This is the thing, though. Like, sorry, going back to Darlington. Like, I think I just got I got it so wrong in terms of I shouldn't have been there. I should have been out on loan playing. Whether that's step 5, step 4, I should have been playing. Because sitting on a bench and getting splinters don't do anything for you at all. You go and play men's football and you know about it. If you're good enough, you'll know at any level. So I should have done that, and I'll stand by that always. I should have went and got, especially that last season, I went on loan to Kisco for a month, and I got dragged at half time the first game because I was thinking, why am I here, basically? So and that just literally sums it up. That literally sums it up. I thought I was too good for step 4.
Yeah.
And then I got shown in the first 45 minutes by a right back who's probably got 250 league appearances in that league. That you ain't too good for this league, mate, if you think that.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously, I go to Stratford and it completely changes. I remember we played Evesham on the Tuesday night before the first game of the season, and I scored an absolute worldie. And then I don't think I started the first game of the season on the Saturday. Came on at 0-0 and lobbed the keeper from halfway. And then that just set me up, really. Yeah, ended up winning that game 2-1. And then I think I went to score 5 and like 6 assists in like 8 games or something, and it was good.
But you didn't get past Christmas.
No.
What was the reason for that?
Tommy got sacked again.
Again.
Yeah.
No, we'll go back to the man. There's a reason he was brought into Darlington. One of the reasons he was brought into Darlington, and one of the reasons he was brought into Stratford. Remember what those were?
Yeah, because he brings youngsters through.
But not just that, he had another role to set up.
Yeah, the academies.
And what exactly?
So we start like the under-19s.
But
So
there was another part of it, wasn't there?
In terms of
Education.
Yeah, the education part. So you got the under-19s, like the scholarships that you do.
So he
when
would
you
not
leave school.
just set up an actual kids, the youth side. He'd actually do an education.
Yeah,
so it's football and it's education.
Yeah,
And the reason for that was
cash.
money, because it brings money from the government. So he did that at Darlington,
Mm-hmm.
and then he went into Stratford and did that there as well. That was part of the reason why they wanted him in
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah.
Obviously, you were involved in that. The part
No, I
you
didn't.
were actually involved in the main
The first
team.
Yeah.
But once, do you think they wanted him for that? And once he'd done that, they were like, "Thanks, you're done now."
I don't know.
Or was
because
it?
if he was
Or was it
first
the
in the
results
league,
weren't good enough?
well, we was like lower table.
Oh, yeah.
We weren't fighting relegation, but we weren't. We was like just mid-table. But then if he was first in the league, would he have got the sack? Probably not. No, because how can you sack?
But is mid-table a reason to sack somebody?
Well, no. No, I guess you're right, but
So I wonder if it was
I'll
like
never know.
you've done what we want you to do.
yeah.
You know, I've got other people in mind now. You've done your
that's
bit.
It. That's it.
You can crack on there, son.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But only Jed will know that, but Chairman.
Yeah.
Another great man.
So from there, you went to Market Drayton and then Hensford to finish the season. Market Drayton, that was a few weeks. And then Hensford to the end of the season. But Hensford didn't work out.
No, Hensford, I was just there to make up the numbers.
Is that the first time that happened to you?
Yeah.
Did you
Oh,
realise that?
I don't want to say make up the numbers.
But did you realise that when you signed?
I'd say after like 2 games. I realised when I didn't come on the first 2 games.
Talk to, because our listeners don't
Yeah.
understand what you mean. What
Yeah.
do you mean by that?
So I felt like I was there to just make up a space on the bench, really and truly. So I remember we played at like Leaston away, which is seriously far. It's like 4 hours away. And I went all the way there, sat on the bench. Obviously came all the way back and I was like, what am I doing here? This is crazy. But I think it was just, look, Mitch has got a good like record behind him. He's played been at Darlington. It looks good, do you know what I mean, to the fans. Look, we're signing a good youngster here. And then you're in kind of a scrap. So you don't want to bring on a young kid. So, who knows?
I think I played you I sent you the clip. He was interviewed by, I think Hensford Radio or somebody within the club, and did an interview afterwards, and they mentioned you about, you brought in Mitch Glover, because I sent you the clip, and he's almost dismissing the fact that he'd signed you.
Yeah.
And I think that was when it became clear to both of us. It was like,
It's not working.
It's not right here. Something's not quite right.
Stuff like this
Clubs
goes
do,
on,
yeah. So yeah,
stuff
talk about
does
this.
it does go on definitely in football, and it is bad because at the end of the day I'm a young lad. I'm an adult, of course. I'm 18, but I'm still a young lad trying to make his way in the game, and then you're getting lied to at the end of the day, and you're getting told, you're coming in to play, and you're not at all, or you're coming in to make a difference, and you're not.
I mean, this happens at the highest level. I mean,
yeah, of course.
I mean, I remember. I mean, my club's Liverpool. I think Jurgen Klopp's awesome, but when he had a real crisis at defence, he signed not Tottenham's Ben Davis, but a Ben Davis from Preston. Never saw him.
Yeah.
It was like, why has he been signed?
I mean, it's different for him because he would have been getting 20 grand.
Absolutely, but it was like make up numbers.
Yeah.
Nothing else. It's almost like we need to have 20 people signed on. So you're our 20th. And it's almost like seeing the same sort of thing. You need to have so many numbers signed.
I mean, if Hensford give me 20 grand a week, then I would have been.
You don't mind that, yeah. You'll take the 20 Hensford.
Yeah.
But and that was the end of that season. It was a bit of a sort of disappointing way to end it after starting so well.
I know, at Stratford.
With lobbing the keeper from halfway, which
the goal at Rochelle,
which no one videoed.
I know, the goal at Rochelle,
which someone did video.
Yeah,
that was good for them, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was, and I think that one's kind of a blur to me, to be honest, that season, and maybe a couple after now.
Well, the following season, you were back at Stratford.
Yeah, so Paul Davis was in charge.
But that didn't go so well because, for those of you who remember, a certain disease hit the country.
Yeah.
And it ended very, very quickly for everybody. But you decided to keep yourself fit in sunnier places.
Correct.
So what can you tell us about Deportivo Don Alvaro?
That Spain is not the same as what everyone thinks. It's freezing cold in the winter.
So where was this? What is it about? How did it happen? What were you there for?
So I flew into.
And how did you play? What happened?
Yeah, so I flew into. I had to fly to
Seville.
Yeah, well, I had to fly to bloody Lanzarote first.
Oh, of course you did. Yeah. Flew down to Lanzarote.
Which
is 2 hours further on.
Yeah, down to Seville. Stay a night in Seville. Then get a bus from Seville at like 7 in the morning when no one speaks English, and try and find my way to. I can't remember what place it was, and then I got picked up by a guy there again who didn't speak English. So I think all this here is just like crazy to me. And then there was a few English lads in the house that I was living in. And it was basically just a club that an agent was close with and brought players over to. So I never actually got to play for him.
But you played in the cup.
I played in a cup, like a friendly game, yeah, a cup friendly.
It wasn't like a friendly. It was a cup they had to win.
Oh yeah, a cup they had to win, but it wasn't like.
And you scored a penalty in that cup.
Yeah.
A penalty shootout.
In the penalty shootout, yeah.
But for you,
no league games.
But I remember chatting to you. For you were treating it very much like, whilst there's COVID and no one's doing anything, you're going to keep yourself fit.
Something. Yeah.
Keep yourself fit. Use the warm weather.
Yeah.
Keep your practicing going.
Well, no, not warm weather because it was -3 degrees.
No, but the videos, I've seen some videos. You were out during the day practicing your free.
Yeah, in a day it was sound. It was 15 degrees. So
compared to this country, that's nice.
Yeah, but then you get to at night and they don't have heat. Well, our villa didn't have heating, so we were literally sleeping in tracksuits, hoods up, everything. Like, it was so cold. I just think I always wanted to try it, didn't I? Going out to a different country and seeing what it was like and the different culture. And I actually learned like some Spanish out there. I could hold a conversation in Spanish. We had Spanish lessons like 3 times a week. So for 4 weeks you're out there, and no one in the village speaks English as well. So I think that was good. But yeah, that was lower down. Obviously, I think that was like the 5th division. Mm-hmm. But obviously,
their divisions are strange as well. They've got like
they have like 10 divisions in the 5th division.
Yeah, like sort of hundreds of divisions wide, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive.
Because Spain's such a big country.
Yeah, it's completely different to how we. Well, no, not really actually, because at like say step 3, you have.
But like, because it's so big,
you have like 3 or 4 divisions.
But because it's so big, they'll have so many divisions dotted around at the same level, but more, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was like that. It was a lot different to what I expected, I think. But no, I just wish I got to play. I think international clearance, wasn't it?
Was that the reason? You didn't play?
I didn't get done, yeah.
That's for what time?
Then the frustration was just kicking in during the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Is that how you trashed the room?
No.
I'm joking. So that was it, and you came back. Well, it was the end of the season by then, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what year this is now. 2021.
21.
Yeah.
This is the end of the 21 season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you came back.
I went to.
And Glossop were calling. Glossop North End, still in the Southern League, but this is the Northern. Yeah. So Southern League. So So it's the Northern Premier League, so still the same Step 3 level.
So I think
Glossop North.
no, Step 4. Step 4.
No,
level.
they were same level.
Step 4 level. Step 4.
Oh, they were down, were they?
Definitely Step 4. Yeah.
Apologies, listeners. I thought they were Step 3.
I caught him out on one.
You did? No,
I caught him out.
I could have sworn they were the same level as Stratford.
Yeah, no, Step 4 league
so
below.
Step
But
4.
I did that pre-season. I'm pretty sure with Stratford.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did a pre-season with Stratford, but chose not to stay.
No,
last days. Why then? Why did you did a pre-season with Stratford? You played the
Yeah.
friendlies. Why at the last day did you go to Glossop?
I had it down with the manager that I was going to sign a contract and not a non-contract. So it was all sorted, it just hadn't been signed. And then Carl Dickinson became manager at Hanley Town, which is Step 4. They were Step 5, sorry, at the time. Messaged me, said I want to chat, all this stuff. So went down, had a chat with him, said I want to sign you, all this. Perfect. I said, like, it's closer to home for me, it's brilliant, I want to play. So I went back to Stratford and said, look, I want to go. They said, no, you're not going. And I was like, they said, oh, you're on a contract. I said, but I haven't signed anything. They said, yeah, but you're not going, all this. Obviously, I'm still only 20. I've not played that many games at this point. I've only played, 25 games maybe? So I didn't end up going to Hanley. I'm not even joking. 5 days later, they said, we don't want you, like, you can go. So I've gone back to Hanley. We've already got a centre mid. We've sorted one. I went into the meeting with another lad called Reece Jones, who's still there now. So obviously he'd signed. So yeah, didn't have anything, and then ended up going to Glossop with Stu.
How did Glossop come along?
I'm not quite sure.
I played a game. I played
a game for them against Sheffield FC in pre-season, just one game, and then they said straight away, "Yeah, well, we want to sign you." And then it was the start of the season, the week after. It was the FA Cup Prem rounds, I want to say. Played that, won that, and then went from there.
But again, this is the issue with, like you said, with football. People think it's just a matter of everyone signs, but it's not. You know, yeah, you can sign, no, you can't sign. We're keeping you, no, you're not keeping you, and chances come and go.
And Hanley that season as well ended up playing on TV in the FA Cup against Brackley. Yeah, so that was.
And didn't the year you left Darlington, they ended up getting on TV?
Ended up playing against Walsall.
Yeah,
twice.
Walsall on TV.
Yeah, which is probably one of the best moments in Darlow's history.
Recent history, yeah, absolutely.
But no, Glossop was. Again, that was good though for when I played. I mean, I was there till late November, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. I was playing every game. So
what happened there? You say late November.
Yeah.
What changed?
We just had a fallout, me and the manager. Just disagreements. I didn't start a couple games towards the end and didn't agree with it. So
it's funny. He kept changing. It's funny actually because I as you know, I follow your career.
Yeah.
And he'd change things after you'd say drawn. He'd bring some players in, and then you'd lose. So he'd bring some more players in
and change it,
and you'd lose.
Yeah.
You might get a win here, but you chase some more, bring some more players in.
Yeah. And
the team at the start of the season that had actually won quite a lot of games and drawn quite a lot of games have now half gone, and you're slowly going down.
Yeah, like
but that original team at the start of the season, has just stuck with that original team.
Yeah.
You should probably still be right up there.
I know. I remember we beat Runcorn Linnets at the start on a Tuesday night, and their number 10, Ewan Murray's at Chester now, so he's made a good career. He's done well. Like he played, and Runcorn are always big in that league, in that Northern Premier League, and we beat them on the Tuesday night, and we done alright. We lost 1-0 to Clitheroe, went on to get playoffs that year. Like that first 2 months, I'm sure we done alright. But yeah, it's just that amount, floods in of players, and it's just you can't get any team around. That's a massive thing, especially in them leagues, definitely. So yeah, but no, I enjoyed it though.
So from there,
I actually couldn't tell you where I went.
Actually, do you know what? We've talked about Hensford signing you just to have numbers. I don't think they did. You did play for Hensford, didn't you?
Yeah. Definitely.
So,
Under Danny Glover.
Yeah, we talked. There's me dissing Hensford. Apologies, listeners. I got that completely wrong. Because after Glossop, you went to Roaster for a while, and then Leek.
And
it was Leek who didn't play you.
Yeah.
And it was the Leek manager who said you're here. And sorry, I was talking about Hensford. It was Leek. Apologies, listener. Yeah, it was Leek Town who signed you just for numbers, not Hensford.
I mean, it's two clubs. Hensford.
Yeah, but Hensford you played.
Yeah, a tiny bit.
Yeah, but no, Hensford quite literally. Leek just quite literally
brought me to sit on the bench.
Yeah, they sent you on loan to Youth Oxeter.
Yeah, for like 2 games.
And you played there, but that was the end of that season.
Roaster, I went to just get minutes because I literally had nowhere.
I was just getting.
And I knew the manager, so I went and played. I think I played 4 games there.
Yeah.
And 1 was against Eccleshaw.
Which takes us to the 22 season, and you signed for Eccleshaw. And that takes us right up to 2025, Eccleshaw. Mm-hmm. So, talk about Eccleshaw. But we will say now, that's step 6.
Yeah, so I've dropped
step
4 leagues.
To step 6. Right from, step 2 to step 6.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that, but talk us through Eccleshaw.
At this point now, when I went there, it was I need to play games week in, week out with nothing affecting me, and that's exactly what I did. Now it could have went both ways, or could have went 2 ways. Could have got moved back up, didn't happen.
You were offered a number of times though. A number of people have approached you, haven't they?
I've had a few, I've had a few. But I've always just wanted to play. I guess I'm kind of not scared, but I don't want to just sit on the bench again. And I know the politics and every club's cliquey, especially in non-league, around this step 4 to step 6. So I just wanted to play. Yeah.
And for 2.5 years at Eccleshaw, that's exactly what you did. You've just it's a local team to you where you live.
Yeah, 15 minutes away.
Friends, playing games. And then with half a season to go, the season just gone, you made the decision to actually go somewhere.
Yeah.
And because but up to now you haven't wanted to risk it and go sit on the bench somewhere.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I risked it when I went and sat on the bench somewhere.
On the bench somewhere. In fairness, and the manager was right. What was the main reason behind this?
No, but there was 2.
Because I do legitimately believe there was it is right what he was saying.
I know. I was cup tied, so I was missing.
About 5 cups, wasn't it? Because in those leagues they enter 4 or 5 cups. 4. It's not just 1 cup.
4. No, 4. 3 or 4 it was.
3 or 4 cups.
So it would be every time I got into the team and did well.
The next game
would and that's no exaggeration at all. The next game would be a cup game. They'd win because they got to 2 cup finals.
And like 2 semis, was it?
And a semi. And
if you won, you can't change
if they won,
the
you
team.
can't change it.
So
they wouldn't change the team from the Saturday to the cup game, apart from me, because I was obviously cup tied. And then it wouldn't change from the cup game because they'd won the cup game.
So you've just gotten in and then you're out again and then you can't get back in because they're winning.
Exactly, and then you're not playing, and then before you know it, you've lost fitness and you're only training twice a week, but you're working full time. There's only so much time you can get out of the house. So, but hopefully this season.
So that took us up to the end of last season.
Yeah.
So this season, no, that was, by the way, that was Stafford Town.
Yeah, we didn't mention the playoff final because we mentioned all the highs. Yeah,
that's true. So where did Stafford Town go this year?
So we finished 3rd in the end. Beat Sandbach in the semi-final, and then played Abbey Orton in the final and lost on pens.
Did you take a penalty?
Someone missed the decisive penalty.
Was it the decisive penalty?
It was the decisive penalty.
Was it the 5th penalty or was it early?
3rd.
Oh, 3rd. So by then, if it's the 3rd, others have already missed.
We'd missed 2. We'd already missed 2.
It's not decisive then. Decisive is the fifth penalty.
No. Yeah, no, it's not.
If it's the third penalty, then others have already missed.
But honestly,
because even if you score that, the next person misses and it's all over.
Yeah, but the one thing I can say is don't ever change what way you're going.
You changed, did you?
The whole time, I was so calm. There was everyone behind the goal, like there was like 300 people behind the goal screaming, and I just walked up, cocky as anything, bouncing the ball on my head, put the ball down, knew I was going bottom right. Knew I'd already scored there earlier that season, that exact place from a pen. Knew I was going, don't know what came over me. Last second, just tried wrapping it, went the other way, and he's just saved it. So,
don't change your penalty decision.
Don't change.
Choose and go with it regardless.
Exactly that. That's one thing I can say.
Do you regret the decision to go to Stafford? Because, like you said, it's not worked out, but not necessarily because of anything you've done, just the way the cups. And I would argue that's almost definitely the reason why.
Yeah.
Is the cup one.
Yeah. No, I think that as well. But
do you think it was the wrong decision to go, or was it just bad luck?
No, I think it was bad luck. I do.
Because what are you doing next season?
Staying at Stafford.
Staying there. So yeah, the fact is you decided you're going to stay and go for it.
Yeah. And I think it was kind of double down time now. Because I've had to. We play on a 4G, it suits me to a T, the way we play, everything, so I've had to literally double down on this season now. So hopefully I'm setting myself big targets this year.
Yeah.
Personally. The funny thing is, to be fair though, at like step 6, I feel like you'd get labelled for being like busy, or if you care, you get labelled for being busy, but the higher up you go, if you care, or like if you try hard, that's a good thing. The lower down you go, if you try, you're labelled busy.
Really?
Yeah. The more big time people will be lower down than they are higher up, which is quite crazy, I think, when you think about it. Because you've got lads on £40 a week being big time and trying to cash you off in games, but then you've got lads at step 2 earning £500-600 a week part-time, who are the nicest guys ever. So that's another big thing. But yeah,
we'll come back to the step question now. So you've gone from step 2 to step 6. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's a missed opportunity, or do you feel it's the right decision for you as your life has changed?
I think there's like a few answers to it, in terms of I don't think I was given the right guidance by managers when I was young. I think they should have sent me out on loan and got me games, because they knew that I wouldn't help me just sitting there. Now I look back, so anyone coming through now, like 18, 19, and then they're sat on the bench, I said, what are you doing? Like, honestly, just go out and play. Drop 2 leagues, like drop a league. Honestly, who cares? Especially like these leagues as well. But yeah, and then I think other things of it is personal as well. I think I didn't progress how I should have progressed. I just think that's just down to playing. I didn't play enough games. I think from when I was at Nuneaton, so I made my debut at 16, to when I went to Eccleshaw 21. So what's that? 5 years. How many games would I have played? No more than.
I think we've worked it out with something like in the region of sort of 30 at most.
30 at most. There you go.
That's not even a season.
That says it all.
It's not even a season, is it?
I did 110 in 2.5 seasons at Eccleshaw. Now imagine if I did that 110 from 17 to 19.
Yeah.
Who knows how different it could have been. But then at the same time, I think, look, there's players that have played in the Premier League that aren't even playing now, or that have dropped down to step 3. So there's so many players that is like so much people that happens to. So many.
And also, of course, personal circumstances change. So step 6 also shoots you. Why? What's changed for you now?
Because I've just had a little one. Just had a little baba.
So you're now a father,
I am.
which means you got a job, family,
Correct.
training twice a week, and matches. What sort of effect is that on you?
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone knows you're going from work at 5, 6 o'clock sometimes. And then you literally back out the door at 7 for training. Well, I'm back at the door for 7 for training and not home till 9:30 at minimum. 10 o'clock most nights. Most Tuesday, Thursdays. I mean, the first month of the season, you play games every Tuesday, don't you? In August, so that first Tuesday, I'm literally going to be getting through the door and leaving because you've got to be there an hour and a half before the game. So that's going to be harder. But yeah, it completely changes everything. You have to think about my family now for the first time ever, in terms of me being the man of the house.
Now, there's no difference from, I would suggest, from step 6 to step 2 in terms of training, as in being the man of the house, going off training. However, matches and distance and time out of the house, what's the difference between step 6 and step 2?
Yeah, step 2, you've got, so it ranges from, now it's crazy, the Conference North. You've got a team in near South Wales. I can't remember what the team's called.
Well, Gloucester were in it.
Gloucester in it. And you've got like Kings Lynn, you've got Darlington,
so Kings Lynn's by Norwich.
Yeah.
Gloucester's just outside, just north of Bristol. And what's the furthest? Spennymoor?
Spennymoor, I think, is the furthest. Which is
almost
just
Scotland. Just
south of Newcastle upon Tyne.
Yeah.
Which
means if you're, and obviously I know you're very central in Stoke, but that means those away games, what sort of time are you leaving?
For our games now?
No, away. If you're playing Spennymoor, Kings Lynn and Gloucester, what time are you leaving?
Well, you have to be there for 1:30, so you'd have to leave. If you're playing Spennymoor, you'd have to leave 4 hours before to make sure. So you'd be leaving at 12.
But you also got to get on the pitch, 8, do everything, get ready. You're not getting there just for kick-off, are you?
No, you get there at 1:30 for a 3 o'clock kick-off. So you'd leave at probably 8 o'clock in the morning. I think we used to leave at 8. I used to leave my house at 8 and then we used to meet at Derby.
And what time do you get back?
About 10, 11 o'clock.
So with the family now,
it'd be impossible. I wouldn't be able to do it.
So that's a consideration you have to make. If you decide. I mean, do you have that desire?
Not to go back up that level, no. I don't think I wouldn't be able to.
But if someone comes along to you and says, "We're National League North, we're National League South, we saw you playing,"
I'd won the lottery then.
We're what you need.
Yeah, I would have won the lottery.
But again, that changes. Would you take it? Because again,
you have to think about everything though. But then what?
2 years ago, 2 years ago, you're just a young lad, free and single, and I can do what I want.
Yeah.
Now, with a young lad, with a young child, what does that mean to you? We're National League South. So it's still not pro. It's still not pro. They're part time, say.
It would literally depend on money. That's what it would depend on. So this is why when people go mad at a player moving from one club to a rival club, they might have been offered £500 more a week for part time. Who knows? Like, it would literally all depend on money. That's all it would depend on. Because if they said, "Oh, we guarantee you're going to play, but you're going to get the same money now as what I'm on at Stafford," which isn't a lot, by the way. You'd be like, well, you've got all your petrol to pay for. You've got your God knows how many hours you're taking out of your week extra. Time is money now. So why would you give that up? Because I'd rather more time with my son or my family all day of the week, because money can't buy that. Can't get this time back with him.
No.
Or with them.
So when you were 6, 7, 8, you wanted to be a footballer, professional footballer. Do you still want that if the opportunity was there? Do you? It's just not possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. If
I mean,
the opportunity was there.
I mean, nothing's
because
impossible.
National League team have seen you and they're coming in and they're full time.
Yeah.
And it's a team in and around Stoke.
If it's full time, then I'll go and give it a go.
You will still take it.
Yeah. Definitely.
You still want that. If that opportunity comes in, you're not at the stage now where you're gone, it's too late for me.
No, I'd still go.
Was Jamie Vardy 24?
Yeah.
Ian Wright's 23, 24 when you picked up. So you're still, it's not like it's a dream gone, but you're now at a point where you have to be realistic about family and life and everything else. Exactly. You've got to weigh up the options of what they're offering.
Yeah.
Distance, time, everything else.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay. Finally, looking back on your whole career, how do you assess it? I mean, in terms of just, not as in success or anything, but just as in enjoyment, fun, life generally. What do you think of it?
I think start of the adult career, men's football, it's just been up and down. There's no other way to put it. You got to think. I go from scoring to making my debut to playing at Stockport to being at Darlow to then scoring at Stratford on my debut, being so high, and then dropping down and not even basically having a club about 4 months later. And then I'm down for like 2 years. And then, or 2 or 3 years, whatever it was, and then go back to Eki. Or go to Eki. Yeah, I'm 4 leagues below, but in my head I'm thinking I'm the best player in this league by a mile anyway. So nothing really mattered to me anyway. And I'm enjoying it. So I think there's nothing better than football, to be honest. So I'd be happy wherever I played.
Would you, knowing, okay, so I haven't quite finished, knowing this, would you recommend as a career for somebody who's not quite good enough to make it as a full-time professional?
In terms of trying to make it as a semi-professional?
Yeah, so you've knowing the path you've just done, so as in, being released by this, dropping this, having to go for this, earning 50 quid for playing for this team, going here, going there. Yeah. All the trials and tribulations you've gone through. For another young lad coming through 17, it's not going to be good enough for the academy, but he might make step 4. He's going to have to fight for all these clubs as well. Would you still recommend that?
Why not go for it? Why not do it? Like, the experiences and the times you're going to have, the highs outweigh the lows by any amount. So I don't understand. You'd have to go for it. It depends. I think it all depends on the person as well, though. Because I could have easily quit. God knows how many times, as well as anyone. How many times I could have quit. But I've just dropped down and just made sure I've always been happy. I think always put yourself first.
So that would be your key message. It sounds
selfish,
But that would be your key message. Don't give up. Just go to a level where you're happy.
Yeah. Go where you wanted. Because if you're wanted, then you're always going to feel good anyway. And then your quality will shine through anyway. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mitchell, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me, Grandad. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And listeners, hope you enjoyed that, and listen out for the next one next time. If you like this podcast, then please email us your questions, comments, random thoughts, anything you want to share with us at greengrassroots@gmail.com. You can contact Mark and Andy through X at Fry Club JFC, on Facebook via Fry Club Junior FC, and the Fry Club website is www.fryclubjfc.co.uk. You could also type out a fantastic review on Apple Podcasts or give us 5 stars on Spotify. You've been listening to a We Haven't Got a Clue What We're Doing production, produced and edited by Andy Glover.